You are watching the great recaps. At the beginning of the movie, we got a scare. Sami sees the doctor running away, reaching a taxi. By saving someone's life, he was the one. But only from inside the sewage. Someone pulls it off, and then the scene shifts. There is Brad, Ant, and CRISPR Joe. He was on his way to Paris, and soon these people near the magnificent Eiffel Tower in Paris reach. Unfortunately, the reason for the night, it is turned off. But still these three would reach the top of the tower secretly. R&D here is preparation for bungee jumping, starts doing it because of his bravery, had to give proof. Although Brad and Chrisit try to stop. But Andy is stubborn but remains stuck. Meanwhile, here is a beautiful sea girl. Seraphine arrives. Seeing which the three they hide. But when it to Seraphine, if you see it jumping, and it immediately comes forward to stop. But Safin jumps in, and so does Andy. To save it has to jump. When Brad and Chris and Dee's both of them grab the rope tied to the leg help, and so does Safin. Selfie lands. The rope being a reserve would hurt it a lot, and then his eyes open in the hospital is. But even in this condition it is of Seraphine, it is thought that he may commit suicide again. Don't do it. And Chris would now say to Brad that Seraphine had a letter in his hand. With his help we can know his address. Are both friends to find the letter, go to the Eiffel Tower. While at the hospital, Andy sees Seraphine go. Seeing that Andy started following, is Andy called out to Seraphine. That's when the doctor comes to the door, opens up and drops Andy on the ground. And when Andy looks up and looks ahead, there is no Sepine. So Chris and Brad's also come here, and too, and D show Seraphine's letter in which her the address of the house was. As soon as the address is found every day, the three friends would knock at Sephine's house. But Seraphine is happy to see them. There is no attempt to drive them away does, but Andy spoke to Seraphine. He was not going to leave without it. Therefore Seraphine here, promising to meet it tomorrow, sends off. As promised, next day on both Sephine and Andy date go. That's all enough for the Andy. It was surprising. So it gets a little nervous and vomiting, begins to make direct movements. Even Seraphine got fed up and left here seems, but Andy apologizing somehow inhibits Sefinin. After a while her a burly man to wrestle with seems. Poor Andy would have been killer is, but Seraphine would have enjoyed this man. Is seeing this mighty power of Seraphine, Andy is also taken aback, asks Seraphine what this feat is all about. How did you do? You have so much power, where did you come from? Stay away from Seraphine and D. She would have left here after giving a warning is, but both friends in the evening reaches Seraphine's house with, and this time Seraphine opens the door. The caretaker Clot that tells them that meet Seraphine at the full moon night party will go. Also the invitation to that party gives. All three come to the party without delay. They go and tell them the name of the Clot entry is found. Crowd of people inside. Sephine is nowhere to be seen. So Chris, he comes to Sephine's house in search of her. No one opens the door after ringing the doorbell, and then Chris notices a basement window goes on, which is removed, and Chris reaches inside, goes to where Safin was imprisoned. To Seraphine, when it is known that Andy is present at the party, if so, it becomes quite alarming because the party was not without danger. To the Andy saves Sephine quickly out of the cell. She starts going out to the party. But Chris, he also insists on going along. To Dongayar, seeing Seraphine lock it in a cell, it goes from here. Sephine entry gate, it comes in even after closing because there were no restrictions on it. A secret passage to Safin. and D tries to get out. These Claude and Brad also saw him going out. They start following. Here we are. Chris, let's see what his evil mind use. A rope from your clothes creates and keys from inside the cell. Pass throws this rope, and from the shoe drop the key on the clothes and unlock the cell comes. But then it is a curtain. A strange and scary sound was heard from behind, and as soon as it removes the veil, then the wolf attacks it with its legs cut off. But Chris quickly saved his life from here escapes. On the other hand, we Seraphine let's see Joe and D from the secret way kicked out of the club. While the club people inside turn into wolves, they start because today is the full moon. It was night and it affects Safin as well. The secret of Sherfin taking the form of a wolf from where it enters the path and D went. Club in the shadows of the dark night, there is an earthquake. Humans become wolves. Humans start making their own food. Meanwhile, Bread also entered the secret passage. Happens people present in the club to save lives run outside. On Claude men, he would close the door and make everyone a wolf's food. As Bread also went on to find Andy lives, and meanwhile it encounters a wolf. It is caused by wounding the Bread pours into. After this comes the number Andy's Joe as death in front of him. If it sees a wolf, its air is also tight and it starts running away. Lake the wolf would also attack it continuously. I stay in. To save yourself ended up killing an iron rod. Wolf from here escapes. But alas, the wolf again, he stands up and starts chasing it to escape from the wolf now, and of a hole backs up and quickly into it begins to penetrate. But before going inside, the wolf grabs one of its legs and somehow get out of the hole while bearing the pain. Comes, but because of the injuries here, he falls unconscious. Andy's when the eye opens it's at Seraphine's house exists while Seraphine downstairs kitchen a very special smoothie is prepared for me and D it is doing that of human heart was all this sight Chris also hides from the window is watching. Quick to Chris and D he asks to leave the house. But before and D could think of something. In this way, Seraphine would come with the juice of the heart because now after the bite of the wolf and D was also going to transform into a wolf. And D would refuse to drink this red juice is on which Seraphine told him the whole truth gives that mango after a werewolf bite a human turns into a werewolf like you but don't overdo it at all can't believe it and so much of Seraphine here comes scary mom. Seeing that and D gets very scared because it was dead but still and them could see and D quickly seeing all this he jumps out of the window. Chris would also try to get to Andy is but Claude catches it. And when if you go to a club place and see it there many humans have body parts. But no one has a heart. Bread 2 was dead hence the police investigation take the and D with you to the police station goes here and D tells the truth about everything. But no one believes in its words Hada and to know the truth of the and D a detective is placed behind. Gradually changes in the body of ND seem even in the restaurant it is for animals Tara eats food. Meanwhile, Amy looked at it falls on a girl named Nam who likes and Amy also lunch with and D starts to do. But when opening the end dish if you see it, it's your friend's bread the face appears. Seeing this starts shouting loudly. While Amy is but she keeps laughing. Washroom for saving lives and here comes the spirit of bread seeing it makes you sweat. Bread tells Andy that as long as you are my killer that is, you will not eliminate the wolves until then my soul will continue to wander. After this Andy takes Amy to the cemetery and both start getting intimate here. But they don't know that Detective In are keeping an eye on. During the intimate Andy's body begins to change and it quickly jumps into the water. Amy jab and goes closer to see Andy would come out in the form of a wolf is seeing that. Amy was scared and a room away from here she sits in hiding. But here this wolf to the shadow of the detective's dog understandably. She leaves the room. Amy's hearing the voice. The detective also gets alerted and tells Amy, I'm a cop. Hearing this, Amy also calms down. But only then the wolf attacks Amy and kills her. The detective to the wolf to save himself shoots, but due to missing the target the wolf also attacked it and killed it gives the next morning when Andy's eyes if it opens, there will be police and media in front and the end is without clothes. The police find Amy and the detective's dead bodies shows off and here's Amy and the soul of the bread is visible. Amy and D wanted the death of while Bread was his murderer the wolf's death because then their soul could be free. And the help of both comes out of and understands that if it is to become a normal person again the heart of the same wolf will eat it is cut but doing so for the ND it was very difficult because Seraphine had done a bite which was Andy's crush. Seeing this, Amy tries to kill Andy but the bread would have saved it. On which Amy starts fighting with Bread. Meanwhile Claude came here and to the basement of the church takes in Claude wanted that and join their wolf group. Claude would also take Andy to Chris and asks to kill Chris. But Claude and esteemed friendship it starts killing its companions and so on try to get out of here quickly does but with Claude, he would be surrounded but Seraphine's entry at the right time Karka takes the ND from here and Seraphine set this path on fire blocks the path of enemies. After that, both Seraphine and Andy in water they jump in and come to Seraphine's house. Seraphine here and her stepfather introduces a wolf where Seraphine explains that my father is one there were doctors who saved me experimented on me. But alas the experiment went wrong and Seraphine became a wolf. Seeing this, his father tried to run away but Seraphine chased them the legs were cut off while the mother was killed. All this after listening and getting emotional, Seraphine hugs him he puts it on and both of them start getting intimate but then Claude with his gang it also comes here. But by touching them already and escapes from here and after a while again to Seraphine comes to the basement. Where Seraphine owns long live the father trying to do it was but to no avail. And Father Seraphine departed from this world go and Seraphine from his father asks about research. Seraphine provides all information related to research. But some research was missing which actually Claude had stolen it. This is that there were experiments from which the werewolf once a month could also be transformed. This data it was a very important and difficult task to find makes it easy to have a note to write on both Seraphine and Andy with the help of a dress arrive at a party. This party Claude had made it so that he could use this excuse Americans can be targeted. And enter inside the saving party he takes it and climbs on a table and tells everyone that you people are in danger. But anyone don't believe the words of Andy the police will handcuff him and take him away seems as they go. Claude, and with it they come here in black clothes, a drug that makes a wolf in your body. They inject it so that it eats people can hear, and D tells the police that Chris's life is in danger. Help us have to do but trust the police, and D she doesn't and starts taking it outside. But Claude had parked his fellow JCB outside so the door doesn't open. And so on looks at Chris tied to the cross, who he was in a very painful condition. Police to Chris order to close the party immediately. D-High and Claude's accomplices were arrested is done. Police just threatened Claude. It was only then that Claude's companions were wolves. They start to form and attack everyone. Let's start with that. In the hall a stampede ensues. These wolves to humans make your own snack. Main gate closing. Because of this no one can go out. This by seeing Safin controlling the JCB, she kills the driver and breaks the main gate. So everyone ran away from here. Come out. Meanwhile, the police convoy gathers outside. While in and a spirit of bread by shooting a wolf gives liberation to police, and D she wanted to arrest, so Seraphine and in both start escaping through secret passage R, but the police staff also constantly follows wolves to all cops kill, and Seraphine with these wolves inject yourself with the same medicine to cope. It can be made into a wolf. Wolve your enemies by becoming a Seraphine. Wolf kills and unintentionally ends up shoots and injures Seraphine. Seraphine tells her that you are normal, eat my heart to become human. But Andy can't do it and avoid the police for starts running away from here, and some distance as soon as he walks, a wolf comes in front of him. This the time was on the ND railway track, and that's when the train comes in front. ND would have survived, but the wolf becomes the target. Driver as the train stops, the wolf enters, he enters and starts killing everyone. Effect of medication on. After finishing this, wolf transforms into Claude goes, so here's the end of it. Attacks and D when Claude's body, but he sees the mark of the iron rod. Then no, it turns out it's not Seraphine's. Claude has to be killed, because of which this become a wolf. Also inject Claude medicine tries to, but in the melee the injection takes ND and it become a wolf and kill Claude and eat his heart. Takes finally Andy and Seraphine get married are doing as Chris rings removes, the ring falls down, whom both Seraphine and ND to catch up they jump. But sorry about the end, the rope is not tied. But Seraphine owns it, rescues with the help of a rope, and in the air he and D puts the ring on Seraphine and the movie ends.